Shalom, when I start souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kodash, double honors, Apostle, great milestone, and honors to brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's raw name over whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, Yahweh. His raw name is Yahweh. His son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, meaning in, Ham in that, and Sham meaning name. So Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick. Found this article earlier on in the day. United Nations planning ID linked to bank accounts. Right now, when we see that, we already know which direction we're heading in. We already know what's up. Right, I'm going to read a little bit of the article. Read it quick, get a precept or two, and then close it out. Right, it says the UN is planning to introduce a global ID that's linked to individuals' bank accounts. Now, what does that sound like? Right, let's put it like that. It says the plan, which is similar to the system developed by the WEF, is outlined in 3 new policy briefs from the UN titled "The Global Digital Compact Reforms to the International Financial Architect and the Future of Outer Space Governance." Right. Which, when you see this as well, it's like, why are they talking about space? What do they know? Right? Because we understand, according to the precepts, right, that, let me just get it. Right, so this is Revelation 12:7. It says, and there was a war in heaven, right? And that's not talking about Satan fighting against the Most High and being kicked out, right? This is talking about, as it says here, future prophecy, so and his armies will attempt to fight against Yahushua and the angels, right? And there's more, this is more expounded on in Sirach, no, which one is it? Second Ezra is the 13th chapter. So it escapes me right now. I'm gonna have to jump to it real quick. Second Ezra 13, the 13th chapter, right, which it goes into that, right. I'll just read this summary here, right? It says Revelation 12:7, and there was a war in heaven. So, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Right, in fact, I'm just going to read one verse in this chapter here. This is 2 Ezra 13. I'll read a few verses. Verse 8, right, it says, after this, 2 Ezra 13 from 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight, right, because these different armies, right, they're gonna, band together to try and, fight Yahushua and the angels, right, so it's laughable just thinking about it, but that's what they're gonna try and do, right, but they're gonna be scared. However, the Lord's gonna put the spirit in them, right, to do it. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, and he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flame and breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flame and breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one. So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid, right? So going back to the article, it says the goal of the briefs is to advance UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' vision for the future. And I'm actually in another tab, just gonna see if there's anything interesting we can get about this guy. Right, and if I can spell Antonio Guterres. Right, let's see when his when his tenure is supposed to finish. So just bear with me 1 second. I can't find it quick. Don't want to, Secretary General. Okay, so he was nominated by his homeland Portugal and appointed by the acclamation of the General Assembly following prior endorsement by the UNSC for a second term that runs from January 2022 to December 2026, right? So he's basically in there till 2026, right? So this would be the midway point, right, for his tenure. As from the report, digital IDs linked with bank or mobile money accounts can improve the delivery of social protection coverage and serve to better reach eligible beneficiaries, right? And that is, very much just equals double speak, right? This is, let me see if I can get an image of this as well. V for Vendetta. I don't know if, here we go. Pop this to the screen. Move to another tab. Here we go. Right, for your protection. You see that, right? And this is how this man speaks, right? But is it for your protection? You see, for your protection. Report suspicious activity, but for your protection, right? You see that there for your, and that's it, right? This is Esau on his double tongue speak. This is Psalms 55 and 21, right? It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So this man comes with, nice words and fair speeches, but really, he's got, he's got war in his heart. He's planning to do wickedness, okay, right? And in this particular time, he's basically he's speaking all these nice things, but really his plan is to kill a whole load of people, right? Because any Israelite that takes the end goal, right, is going to be destroyed. And thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right, digital technologies may help to reduce leakage, errors, and cost in design of social protection programs, right? And in fact, now I'm reading through this, and it's something that we were, as Arkin, we've reasoned on a number of times, right? But all of these social packages that were set up during the whole CV, right? They were leaks, right? Over here in the UK, you had the basic, I forget the name of it, but it was basically a scheme whereby a coronavirus grant scheme or whatever, right? And then basically what would happen was a business could apply and then get, I think, like up to 50,000 GBP. Now, a load of people abused the system, which of course the system was designed in such a weak way, right? And then, the conversation between Arkham was like, wait there, these guys can do a better job of securing the system, right? So they left that leakage on purpose so that they can, speaking as men, right? But reading this is one of the things that you think about, right? Because now when a new thing happens, they're gonna be like, but wait, there, last time the system was abused, so now actually we have to, be a lot more strict and stringent. This is not unlike their unofficial counterparts over at the WEF. The UN also speaks about basically regulating the global digital future, right? And if I'm not mistaken, the WHO also in their treaty that they've been talking about, I believe there's a whole passport thing in there as well, right? So it's all linked, right? As the unelected organization uses the phrase, wait, I completely missed a bit. It's just saying, it's actually one of the key things I wanted to talk on, right? Back up the top, officially titled Our Common Agenda, Guterres' vision should be given the green light when in September 2024, during an event dubbed the Summit for the Future, right? And in Our Common Agenda, that made me think of, a Noet Coeptis, right? He favors our undertakings, right? The plan that they have. Let's see, he says, he has approved of our undertakings, right? Crowned our enterprise with success, right? Which makes me think of this precept. This is Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, right? Which that cherry on top for these elites, right, is to basically have everyone with this device in them. Okay, I am just gonna jump straight to the bits, not to, would you call it, not to make this too long. But here, this is meanwhile, the WEF has just partnered with the leading biometrics company to advance its own agenda and digitize agenda to digitize humanity. Swedish biometric company Fingerprint Cards has taken a big step into WEF's new champions community and assembly of mid-sized enterprises. So I looked up fingerprint cards, right? This is their website, fingerprints.com/solution/payments. When you basically see the usage of the cards, you can see this gold bit here, right, and the black bit there, right? So, and then you can see it being used here, which is basically a fingerprint reader. Right now, when you have, all of this talk about, plastic, yada yada yada, right? Yeah, that's beautiful. She showed you a much better clip there, right? All of this talk about plastic only makes sense instead of doing all of this work, right? To eventually just be like, oh no, actually we found a better way of doing it, and that is to put a device in you, right? So things are moving, right? These guys are letting their are letting their what's the word I'm looking for? So I say, and I just what do you call it? They're just trying to trying to multitask as well, because there's another thing, right? Let me just put this in here because we saw 2024 there, right? So in the UK, you get these things. Immigrants get these things if they're an immigrant, which are called biometric residence permits. It's a card, right? But one of the things that is about them is they all expire in 2024, right? So the change to biometric permit expiry dates was initially brought about due to requirements introduced by the EU, right? So this is originally an EU directive, right? Following Brexit, these requirements were dropped by the UK. However, the Home Office has opted to continue to issue BRPs with an end date of 31st December 24. This is because the Home Office is progressing its plans to digitize the immigration system as far as it can. People with BRP cards now have digital status. The Home Office intends to stop using the cards from January 2025. Right, and then the other article I remember reading on this a while back was basically going into like encryption and all of that sort of stuff. The security of the device of the cards themselves. Right, so all of these things lining up. All of this biometric talk, all of this payment talk, this, that, and the other, we can only hope that, that it's sooner than this, September 2024, right? But they're letting their plans be known to everyone, right? So as always, Lord's what I was edifying. The Lord is getting ready to get us the hell up out of here. Until next time, we say Shalom.